才能抢先发现未来的金矿。中国信托投信携手颠覆式创新先驱，方舟投资 ARK Invest 打造全台首档海外股主动 ETF 00983A， 聚焦5大颠覆式创新主题 ：AI 人工智慧、能源储存、区块链、机器人与基因定序。每一项技术都是改写未来的新引擎。主动挖掘真正潜力股，提早卡位被低估的潜力黑马，以前瞻视野掌握每一次爆发契机。00983A 不只投资未来，更与未来同行。2大投资团队联手，锁定改变世界的关键公司，在趋势成型前，为您开创投资新局。创新不会停，机会不等人。下一波趋势大浪正蓄势待发，您准备好了吗？00983A 专为未来趋势而生的主动式 ETF， 看见改变未来的趋势密码，就从这里开始。
投资一定有风险，基金投资有赚有赔，申购前应详阅公开说明书。
In the world of disruptive innovation today, make sure that you get on the right side of change. Hi, my name is Cathie Wood. I am founder, CEO, and Chief Investment Officer of ARK Invest. Well, we do believe that the U.S. is going through some uncertainty associated with the transition in the administration. But we believe that that uncertainty and weakness in economic activity is going to give the Trump administration and the Fed room to stimulate. And we believe that we're going to move into a surprisingly strong recovery through the end of this year, and that the market will respond very favorably. Active ETFs, the future is bright. The benefits are cost, liquidity, and transparency. All of those are very positive for investors. For portfolio managers, the benefits are the ecosystem around ETFs, which means that we do not have to manage flows. We can just invest. Well, we have a scoring system that helps us weigh both financial and non-financial factors when it comes to disruptive innovation. The non-financial factors that influence our investing when it comes to disruptive innovation are very important. A visionary management is critical. A visionary engineer or scientist has to be surrounded by great business people as well, and tends to attract great talent. So that's a very important factor. Moats or barriers to entry, that usually has to do with the specific technology and how a company is advancing the technology. Product and service leadership is another example that we can measure or we can see not only through market shares, but also through social sentiment on social media. Now that so many people are on social media talking about everything. And then execution. Execution to us is this management team placing the right priority on research and development, and are they spending enough in the right places? So again, very focused on technology. And then finally, the last non-financial factor is thesis risk. Thesis risk includes government regulation or other obstacles that government might be placing in the way of new technologies evolving. Perhaps another new technology coming through the private sector that might be a risk to our own technologies. So thesis risk is very important and helps us size positions in the portfolio. Yes, our portfolios are very focused on one thing, truly disruptive innovation. Well, we believe that the 5 major innovation platforms evolving today, robotics, energy storage, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, and multi-omics sequencing in the life science space, they involve 15 different technologies. And we think the biggest opportunities for investors during the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years involves the convergence among these technologies. So autonomous taxi platforms are the convergence of robots. Autonomous vehicles are robots. Energy storage, they will be electric. Artificial intelligence, they'll be powered by AI. And we think that they will scale to an $8 to $10 trillion revenue opportunity, followed by significant cash flow during the years ahead. So a second convergence among technologies that we think is going to create some profound AI applications is the convergence among sequencing technologies, DNA, RNA, proteins, artificial intelligence, and CRISPR gene editing. Because we're able to sequence the genome now, we can find diseases, mutations very early on, and CRISPR gene editing can edit out these programming errors. This is going to cure diseases, which again, we think is one of the most profound applications of AI. And then the third opportunity, which is evolving very quickly now, is the opportunity in space exploration. It's really being funded by satellites as SpaceX and other companies throw satellites into space. They're creating an opportunity for broadband connectivity around the world, in the air, on the sea. And that is going to fund the mission to Mars with humanoid robots to check it out for human beings. And who knows, maybe in 20 years, 20 to 30 years, as Elon Musk would say, we will be colonizing Mars.
投资一定有风险，基金投资有赚有赔，申购前应详阅公开说明书。
大家好，欢迎收看财经360，我是我爱讲。中信投信呢，在上半年也推出了一档海外第一档的这个主动式 ETF， 它叫00983A。今天很高兴我们请到00983A 的经理人唐主印 Jack 到节目现场来。
主持人好，大家好。
Hello Jack。我们00983A 从6月18上市到现在，中间到底你施了什么魔法，让它可以成长这么快呢？
我想应该不是我的魔法，是投资人对于这个00983A 它的投资策略开始逐渐做认同。那00983A 它最主要是以颠覆式创新为主这个诉求，其实在创新的这个领域里面，渐渐获得了投资人的认同。大家也都慢慢知道，包括 AI。也好，或者最近很夯的像加密货币等等的，都是对未来有创新、有改变全世界的模式的能力的这样的一个新科技新模式。对，大家会认为未来性越来越可能会发生。所以未来就是现在的概念来看，大家就会比较青睐相对的个股。在投资领域来看，事实上颠覆式创新这件事情并没有被投资人所遗忘，它甚至是更大力去加码，不只是00983A， 在全世界颠覆式创新的投资领域，在上半年都很明显看到了大量的资金在涌入。如果说我们倒过来自我检视好了，我们把那个 Top 10的这个持股拿出来看一看，不对，第一大的 Tesla 呢，它成为我们一个第一大持股，但年初到现在跌15%。这个你知道，这个感受来说有点怪怪的。Tesla 其实成为我们第一大持股的确是有原因的。它今年以来是上冲下洗啊。那尤其是从6月开始在讲它的那个 Robotaxi，
对，
无人计程车，美国的
真的上线了。
那大家再看放大镜去检视 Robotaxi 是不是真的有未来性？
对，
然后再看看它是不是真的在未来可以帮特斯拉的价值再创造数倍的，甚至上百倍的价值。
OK，
这是回到一个基本面的概念。
所以换句话说，我们的顾问 ARK 对于 Tesla 这家公司来说还是非常非常看好的，是这样说吗？
特斯拉因为它的无人的计程车，
对，
还有它年底要推出来的 Optimus 的机器人，
对，
这个其实才是特斯拉它未来价值增值的所在。它已经不是在卖电动车了，但是这个公司它将来的价值其实是在它的未来
，OK，
包括刚刚讲的这2项，而它背后是它的软体，是它的大脑，是它的 service。换句话说，它将来是要成为一个生态系。
那下半年有什么ARK 有什么样的提醒，或者是给大家的这个指引，可以让大家来相信的呢？
其实ARK 在它长期来看，以 AI 为核心以神经网络为核心发散出来的各个的产品跟应用，其实都是不断在发生的。包括医疗方面的包括工业方面，刚刚讲机器人都有可能的。
对，
包括像金融方面区块链相关，然后像包括能源储存这一方面。所以这些东西其实在未来一定都会有它的一个角色在。那不过除此之外，还有它的其他像最近像地缘政治的议题非常的夯，像有关于像防卫韧性。
对，
那个防卫韧性，所谓的 AI 加国防工业 ，AI 在未来的防卫上是一个过去比较少人去谈到的话题。
对，
但是它还是跟我们刚刚讲的是一体两面。它在各个领域本来就会有它发扬光大的地方，只是过去我们投 AI， 大家的观念都是在高速运算，在大语言模型。在未来一定会是在产品服务，在各行各业都要推出 AI 应用这块领域。
好，今天我们很高兴听到这个00983A的经理人 Jack 呢，亲口的来告诉大家，下半年这个破坏式创新呢，还有很多令人期待的地方。欢迎投资人呢，透过单笔或定时定额的方式呢，来参与我们00983A的申购。我相信这样的把握程度是相对比较高的。
对，看中长期的话，3-5年后回头来看，应该是不会后悔的。
OK， 好，今天财经360我们节目到这边，谢谢大家收看，拜拜。
投资一定有风险，基金投资有赚有赔，申购前应详阅公开说明书。
每个人都在寻找财富宝藏，但真正的机会藏在改变世界的创新里。唯有主动布局，才能抢先发现未来的金矿。中国信托投信携手颠覆式创新先驱方舟投资 ARK Invest， 打造全台首档海外股主动 ETF 00983A， 聚焦5大颠覆式创新主题 ：AI 人工智慧、能源储存、区块链、机器人与基因定序。每一项技术都是改写未来的新引擎。主动挖掘真正潜力股，提早卡位被低估的潜力黑马，以前瞻视野掌握每一次爆发契机。00983A 不只投资未来，更与未来同行。2大投资团队联手，锁定改变世界的关键公司，在趋势成型前，为您开创投资新局。创新不会停，机会不等人。下一波趋势大浪正蓄势待发，您准备好了吗？00983A 专为未来趋势而生的主动式 ETF， 看见改变未来的趋势密码，就从这里开始。
投资一定有风险，基金投资有赚有赔，申购前应详阅公开说明书。
In the world of disruptive innovation today, make sure that you get on the right side of change. Hi, my name is Cathie Wood. I am founder, CEO, and Chief Investment Officer of ARK Invest. Well, we do believe that the U.S. is going through some uncertainty associated with the transition in the administration. But we believe that that uncertainty and weakness in economic activity is going to give the Trump administration and the Fed room to stimulate. And we believe that we're going to move into a surprisingly strong recovery through the end of this year, and that the market will respond very favorably. Active ETFs, the future is bright. The benefits are cost, liquidity, and transparency. All of those are very positive for investors. For portfolio managers, the benefits are the ecosystem around ETFs, which means that we do not have to manage flows. We can just invest. Well, we have a scoring system that helps us weigh both financial and non-financial factors when it comes to disruptive innovation. The non-financial factors that influence our investing when it comes to disruptive innovation are very important. A visionary management is critical. A visionary engineer or scientist has to be surrounded by great business people as well, and tends to attract great talent. So that's a very important factor. Moats or barriers to entry, that usually has to do with the specific technology and how a company is advancing the technology. Product and service leadership is another example that we can measure or we can see not only through market shares, but also through social sentiment on social media. Now that so many people are on social media talking about everything. And then execution. Execution to us is this management team placing the right priority on research and development, and are they spending enough in the right places? So again, very focused on technology. And then finally, the last non-financial factor is thesis risk. Thesis risk includes government regulation or other obstacles that government might be placing in the way of new technologies evolving. Perhaps another new technology coming through the private sector that might be a risk to our own technologies. So thesis risk is very important and helps us size positions in the portfolio. Yes, our portfolios are very focused on one thing, truly disruptive innovation. Well, we believe that the 5 major innovation platforms evolving today, robotics, energy storage, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, and multi-omics sequencing in the life science space, they involve 15 different technologies. And we think the biggest opportunities for investors during the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years involves the convergence among these technologies. So autonomous taxi platforms are the convergence of robots. Autonomous vehicles are robots. Energy storage, they will be electric. Artificial intelligence, they'll be powered by AI. And we think that they will scale to an $8 to $10 trillion revenue opportunity, followed by significant cash flow during the years ahead. So a second convergence among technologies that we think is going to create some profound AI applications is the convergence among sequencing technologies, DNA, RNA, proteins, artificial intelligence, and CRISPR gene editing. Because we're able to sequence the genome now, we can find diseases, mutations very early on, and CRISPR gene editing can edit out these programming errors. this is going to cure diseases, which again we think is one of the most profound applications of AI. And then the third opportunity, which is evolving very quickly now, is the opportunity in space exploration. It's really being funded by satellites as SpaceX and other companies throw satellites into space. They're creating an opportunity for broadband connectivity around the world, in the air, on the sea. And that is going to fund the mission to Mars with humanoid robots to check it out for human beings. And who knows, maybe in 20 years, 20 to 30 years, as Elon Musk would say, we will be colonizing Mars.
投资一定有风险，基金投资有赚有赔，申购前应详阅公开说明书。
大家好，欢迎收看财经360，我是我爱讲。中信投信呢，在上半年也推出了一档海外第一档的这个主动式 ETF， 它叫00983A。今天很高兴我们请到00983A 的经理人唐主任 Jack 到节目现场来。
主持人好，大家好。
Hello Jack。我们00983A 从6月18上市到现在，中间到底你施了什么魔法，让它可以成长这么快呢？
我想应该不是我的魔法，是投资人对于这个00983A 它的投资策略开始逐渐做认同。那00983A 它最主要是以颠覆式创新为主这个诉求，其实在创新的这个领域里面，渐渐获得了投资人的认同。大家也都慢慢知道，包括 AI。也好，或者最近很夯的像加密货币等等的，都是对未来有创新、有改变全世界的模式的能力的这样的一个新科技新模式。对，大家会认为未来性越来越可能会发生。所以未来就是现在的概念来看，大家就会比较青睐相对的个股。在投资领域来看，事实上颠覆式创新这件事情并没有被投资人所遗忘，它甚至是更大力去加码，不只是00983A， 在全世界颠覆式创新的投资领域，在上半年都很明显看到了大量的资金在涌入。如果说我们倒过来自我检视好了，我们把那个 Top 10的这个持股拿出来看一看，不对，第一大的 Tesla 呢，它成为我们一个第一大持股，但年初到现在跌15%。这个你知道，这个感受来说有点怪怪的。Tesla 其实成为我们第一大持股的确是有原因的。它今年以来是上冲下洗啊。那尤其是从6月开始在讲它的那个 Robotaxi， 对，无人计程车，美国的真的上线了。那大家再放大镜去检视。Robotaxi 是不是真的有未来性？对，然后再看看它是不是真的在未来可以帮特斯拉的价值再创造数倍的，甚至上百倍的价值。OK， 这是回到一个基本面的概念。所以换句话说，我们的顾问 ARK 对于 Tesla 这家公司来说还是非常非常看好的，是这样说吗？特斯拉因为它的无人的计程车，对，还有它年底要推出来的 Optimus 的机器人，对，这个其实才是特斯拉它未来价值增值的所在。它已经不是在卖电动车了，但是这个公司它将来的价值其实是在它的未来。OK， 包括刚刚讲的这2项，还有它背后是它的软体，是它的大脑，是它的 service。换句话，它将来是要成为一个生态系。那下半年有什么ARK 有什么样的提醒，或者是给大家的这个指引，可以让大家来相信的呢？其实ARK 在它长期来看，以 AI 为核心以神经网络为核心发散出来的各个的产品跟应用，其实都是不断在发生的。包括医疗方面的包括工业方面，刚刚讲机器人都有可能的。对，包括像金融方面区块链相关，然后像包括能源储存这方面。所以这些东西其实在未来一定都会有它的一个角色在。那不过除此之外，还有它其他像最近像地缘政治的议题非常的夯，像有关于像防卫韧性。对，那个防卫韧性，所谓的 AI 加国防工业 ，AI 在未来的防卫上是一个过去比较少人去谈到的话题。对，但是它还是跟我们刚刚讲的是一体两面。它在各个领域本来就会有它发扬光大的地方，只是过去我们投 AI， 大家的观念都是在 高速运算，在大语言模型，在未来一定会是在产品服务，在各行各业都要推出 AI 应用这块领域。
好，今天我们很高兴听到这个00983A的经理人 Jack 呢，亲口的来告诉大家，下半年这个破坏式创新呢，还有很多令人期待的地方。欢迎投资人呢，透过单笔或定时定额的方式呢，来参与我们00983A 的申购。我相信这样的把握程度是相对比较高的。
对，看中长期的话，3-5年后回头来看，应该是不会后悔的。
OK， 好，今天产经320我们节目到这边，谢谢大家收看，拜拜。
投资一定有风险，基金投资有赚有赔，申购前应详阅公开说明书。
每个人都在寻找财富宝藏，但真正的机会藏在改变世界的创新里。唯有主动布局，才能抢先发现未来的金矿。中国信托投信携手颠覆式创新先驱，方舟投资 ARK Invest。打造全台首档海外股主动 ETF 00983A， 聚焦5大颠覆式创新主题 ：AI 人工智慧、能源储存、区块链、机器人与基因定序。每一项技术都是改写未来的新引擎。主动挖掘真正潜力股，提早卡位被低估的潜力黑马，以前瞻视野掌握每一次爆发契机。00983A 不只投资未来，更与未来同行。2大投资团队联手，锁定改变世界的关键公司，在趋势成型前，为您开创投资新局。创新不会停，机会不等人。下一波趋势大浪正蓄势待发，您准备好了吗？00983A 专为未来趋势而生的主动式 ETF， 看见改变未来的趋势密码，就从这里开始。
投资一定有风险，基金投资有赚有赔，申购前应详阅公开说明书。
In the world of disruptive innovation today, make sure that you get on the right side of change. Hi, my name is Cathie Wood. I am founder, CEO, and Chief Investment Officer of ARK Invest. Well, we do believe that the U.S. is going through some uncertainty associated with the transition in the administration. But we believe that that uncertainty and weakness in economic activity is going to give the Trump administration and the Fed room to stimulate. And we believe that we're going to move into a surprisingly strong recovery through the end of this year, and that the market will respond very favorably. Active ETFs, the future is bright. The benefits are cost, liquidity, and transparency. All of those are very positive for investors. For portfolio managers, the benefits are the ecosystem around ETFs, which means that we do not have to manage flows. We can just invest. Well, we have a scoring system that helps us weigh both financial and non-financial factors when it comes to disruptive innovation. The non-financial factors that influence our investing when it comes to disruptive innovation are very important. A visionary management is critical. A visionary engineer or scientist has to be surrounded by great business people as well, and tends to attract great talent. So that's a very important factor. Moats or barriers to entry, that usually has to do with the specific technology and how a company is advancing the technology. Product and service leadership is another example that we can measure or we can see not only through market shares, but also through social sentiment on social media. Now that so many people are on social media talking about everything. And then execution. Execution to us is this management team placing the right priority on research and development, and are they spending enough in the right places? So again, very focused on technology. And then finally, the last non-financial factor is thesis risk. Thesis risk includes government regulation or other obstacles that government might be placing in the way of new technologies evolving. Perhaps another new technology coming through the private sector that might be a risk to our own technologies. So thesis risk is very important and helps us size positions in the portfolio. Yes, our portfolios are very focused on one thing, truly disruptive innovation. Well, we believe that the 5 major innovation platforms evolving today, robotics, energy storage, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, and multi-omics sequencing in the life science space, they involve 15 different technologies. And we think the biggest opportunities for investors during the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years involves the convergence among these technologies. So autonomous taxi platforms are the convergence of robots. Autonomous vehicles are robots. Energy storage, they will be electric. Artificial intelligence, they'll be powered by AI. And we think that they will scale to an $8 to $10 trillion revenue opportunity, followed by significant cash flow during the years ahead. So a second convergence among technologies that we think is going to create some profound AI applications is the convergence among sequencing technologies, DNA, RNA, proteins, artificial intelligence, and CRISPR gene editing. Because we're able
各位现场的嘉宾、各位长官、各位从线上加入我们观看直播的观众朋友，大家好！欢迎大家来到由中国信托投信所举办的“未来已到，颠覆式创新投资预言”。我们今天为您邀请到投资界的传奇之一 Cathie Wood， 人正在现场，第一次跟台湾的投资人一起面对面。Ladies and gentlemen, both in the hall and joining us online, welcome to The future is here, Cathie Wood's vision for disruptive innovation investments, hosted by CTBC Investments. And our host today, I'm Catherine. It's such an honor and privilege to see you all here. 这个市场呢，现在真的是瞬息万变，尤其我们有一个非常特殊的美国总统川普。如果呢，我们只是看着市场上面的讯息，然后及时的做反应，恐怕这7个月以来会常常觉得有一点疲于奔命。但是今天这一场的论坛特殊之处，就是我们特别为您邀请到国际级的重量级的投资界的传奇，他特别的可以看下一个5年、10年投资的机遇在哪里，我们要精准的辨识它，并且抓住属于我们的机会。所以今天就是现场的嘉宾以及线上的所有观众朋友，我们一起掌握一扇通往未来的窗口。那在今天的论坛开始之前呢，首先我们要先来介绍今日的嘉宾，请唱名到的嘉宾呢可以起身向观众朋友以及镜头挥挥手，让大家更认识您。首先我们介绍中国信托金控证券事业长张玉泽，欢迎你。欢迎中国信托投信总经理陈振华。欢迎中国信托投信基金经理人唐祖印，欢迎风传媒集团合伙人兼社长王学成社长。Welcome founder, CEO, and CIO of ARK Invest, Cathie Wood. and Global Head of Investment Solution of ARK Invest, Thomas Hartman Boyce. And Chief of Staff of ARK Invest, Alan Tomczak. Thank you all， 也谢谢今天莅临现场的所有长官跟贵宾。那今天在我们论坛一开始之前，让我们首先欢迎主办单位中国信托投信总经理陈振华，可以上台跟现场的观众朋友以及线上的观众朋友说几句话。欢迎陈总经理。让我们再次以热烈的掌声欢迎陈总经理上台。
好，我借个台子放一下我的大钞。好，现场各位贵宾、各位业界的先进，还有各位投资朋友，那线上的这个观看的投资朋友，大家下午好。那我想，今天中国信托投信非常荣幸，也可以邀请到方舟投资的创办人 Cathie Wood 再次来到台湾。那事实上，这是他今年第2次来台湾，那我们而且这次是非常的这个短暂的快闪的行程，他只在台湾停留8个小时。而且我们安排了有简单的参叙、媒体的专访、媒体的联访，还有这个大型的一个说明会。非常的辛苦，再次感谢 Cathie。那事实上，透过中国信托投信跟方舟投资的合作，我们希望Cathie 接下来每一年的这个亚洲行程都可以把台湾列为一定要来的这个其中一站。那每一次来都可以见识到台湾的活力跟台湾投资人的一个热情。再次谢谢 Cathie。好。那我想，在这个 AI 迭代快速更新的一个年代哦，传统的投资哦，事实上是面临这个前所未有的一个挑战哦。过去我们习惯以这个股价的波动，或者是所谓的标准差来衡量投资的风险，认为这个波动度越小，稳定度越高是越安全的一个资产。然而，ARK 投资团队提出了全新的一个投资观点。那这也是今天 Cathie 要跟我们演讲的一个主题。那 Cathie 认为，真正的风险哦，不是来自于这个短期的市场震荡哦，而是来自于这个企业本身被市场淘汰的一个可能性哦。当一家企业过度的保守哦，不敢投资，反应迟钝，那它的商业模式可能会在快速变革的过程中哦，失去了这个价值哦。相反的，那些勇于投资未来、勇于创新的这个公司哦，虽然它的股价短期波动可能比较大，但它可能拥有这个巨大的一个潜力跟巨大的一个利润。那我们可以看到许多的这个对照组，像这个 Netflix 跟百视达，我想这个大家非常清楚，像特斯拉跟传统的制车厂，或者是像很多的金融科技公司跟传统的银行，事实上，我们这个对照组的后者看似这个稳定的一个商业模式哦，但实际上都隐藏着被颠覆式创新颠覆的一个巨大风险哦。那也因此，我们相信这些积极拥抱新技术、引领潮流的一个公司哦，那将会是未来价值的一个创造者。那中国信托投信对于这个观点，我们非常的认同。那也因此，我们积极的拥抱创新，在台湾的这个主管机关开放了主动式 ETF 之后，我们这个算是引领业界，我们推出了第一档聚焦在颠覆式创新的主动式 ETF 00983A 主动中信ARK创新 ETF。那我们在今年的6月18挂牌以后，我大概就遇到了很多的利多哦，我们遇到了这个特斯拉的无人机人车开始的营运的一个顺风车。那美国国会也通过了所谓的天才法案，稳定币的相关个股也都有很好的一个表现。那这些大概都是我们00983A 所关注的投资领域跟相关的公司哦。那也因此，我们在挂牌以来，净值 规模还有受益人数都能够持续的一个成长。好，那我想未来中国信托投信会跟 ARK 持续的合作，持续的聚焦，持续的这个秉持对颠覆式创新的一个共同信念哦。那希望可以提供给台湾投资人跟台湾的一个资本市场哦，带来不同的一个投资的一个风貌哦。好，那今天谢谢大家来参加这个活动哦。那我们希望今天这个活动哦，可以带给大家满满的一个收获，那也可以有很多的一个投资启发。那敬祝各位身体健康，投资理财顺利，谢谢。
谢谢陈振华总经理，邀请您先行回座。好，现场的长官嘉宾以及线上的观众朋友，我们接下来马上就要进入今天万众期待重磅演讲的环节了。今天呢，真的非常荣幸邀请到全球最受瞩目的女性基金经理人之一，在2020年的时候，她的 ARK Invest 有创下了170%的投资绩效，而且呢，在那一年，她管理的基金就已经超过了170亿美元。那他关注的领域呢，横跨了像是电动车、人工智慧、基因科技、金融科技等不同的产业。他认为有5大不同的 platforms 现在会全部的 converge 在一起。到底有什么最重要的关键启动这一切呢 ？Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm round of applause. Welcome, Cathie Wood. 这是他第一次在台湾跟台湾的投资人面对面一起分享交流。那我们最后也会有 Q&A 的时间。Thank you so much for coming to Taiwan, Cathie.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, CTBC. Hospitality, vitality, absolutely. I have always loved Taiwan, and I've experienced great warmth here over the years, and I have been here a number of times. This is an especially wonderful time for ARK. This country is really at the heartbeat of one of the biggest technology movements in history, and that, of course, is AI. And it's exciting to be able to share with you some of our thoughts about how the heartbeat, starting here, NVIDIA and TSM together, that heartbeat is causing the most amazing technological transformation and will continue to cause the most amazing technological transformations in history. Before I get to my presentation, I'd like to just set up a bit the backdrop for innovation these days in the United States and around the world. We face a lot of problems, and I know from your point of view, outside of the US, everyone's point of view, there seems to be a lot of chaos taking place in the United States. Tariffs on, tariffs off, tariffs on again. We do understand it because we too feel like it is somewhat chaotic. But we're also very impressed that after the tariff turmoil hit the market, it came right back. And now, with one worry after another, the market keeps powering through them. I have been in many market cycles, and this is, it appears, a bull market that is climbing the wall of worry. And what that means is it's probably a very durable, sustainable bull market. I'm not saying we won't have any corrections, but we do believe this is a bull market and that it is going to be powered, importantly, by some of the policies that the Trump administration has enacted. The headlines out there are all about tariffs, but what that is missing is a massive amount of deregulation taking place in every industry. And probably the most surprising one is healthcare. I know that Robert F. Kennedy and Dr. Oz get the headlines, but there are really serious scientists now at work in the administration to deregulate some of the regulations that are holding healthcare back unnecessarily. And I'll go through that in a moment. The other thing that you don't hear a lot about, because again, we are hearing about tariffs, tariffs, tariffs. But the other thing that you're not hearing about are the tax cuts that were part of the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill. OB3 is the nickname for that One Big Beautiful Bill. The tax cuts were especially favorable to companies in the United States that are building structures, that are buying a lot of equipment, that are spending a lot on R&D, and that are spending a lot on software. These companies are typically innovating. On structures, this has never happened. Any structure built will be able to depreciate in year 1 instead of over 30 years. That's pretty amazing. If the structure is built between now and the end of President Trump's term. That means there's going to be a boom in the United States in construction, especially in manufacturing construction. 2, equipment, hardware, software, R&D, being able to expense them in year 1 as well. And that enactment has been made permanent. We have had temporary periods of full expensing, but never permanent. So this is going to cause a boom, and a boom that favors innovation. And I hope that many of you did not know about the tax bill, because I think that many people do not know about it around the world and even in the United States. And what that means is there are going to be major surprises coming out for the next 3 years of companies in terms of revenue and earnings beating expectations. So pretty excited about that. The other thing that's going on is, in terms of deregulation, is the head of the FTC is gone, and that means M&A is back. And this is important because there are a lot of private companies stuck in limbo. They were blowing through their cash, and now they can be acquired by bigger companies. The last administration was not letting big companies get any bigger with innovative companies. And that is getting the venture world going again. So we're in the middle of a virtuous cycle for innovation. And in our world, it has just begun. In the bull market that we've had in 23 and 24, it was very narrowly focused to the Mag 6, the Magnificent Six. The NVIDIAs, the Microsofts, Amazon, Apple, and so forth. Now the bull market, through this wall of worry, all the things we have to worry about, now this bull market is broadening out, and that is a very healthy sign. The last thing I'll say in terms of economic backdrop is, and we'll get into it in a moment, I think the biggest surprise for those who are worrying about interest rates and inflation is that inflation is going to drop once the tariffs have passed through, and they are passing through now and not causing much of an increase in inflation. But once they've passed through, that inflation is going to decline to surprisingly low levels. We would not be surprised to see 0% inflation at some point during the next 1 to 2 years. Okay, so now on with the show. The disclaimer. All right, here is a timeline of innovation. Our chief futurist, Brett Winton, worked with academia, and you can see this timeline goes back into the 1700s. And these waves that you see in this chart are waves of productivity growth caused by innovation. And you can see the wave we're in right now. We've never seen anything like it. The closest was in the late 1800s, early 1900s, when we had 3 innovation platforms evolving at the same time: telephone, electricity, and internal combustion engine. And so the productivity uplift and the transformation in the economy, really the Industrial Revolution, delivered incredible gains and gave us what was known as the Roaring '20s. Well, we think we're back in the Roaring '20s a century later, because we now have not 3 innovation platforms evolving at the same time, but 5 innovation platforms, as you can see here depicted by different colors. Robotics, energy storage, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, and in the life sciences space, multi-omics sequencing. And as you can see here, we expect the productivity gains in this cycle to be like nothing we have ever seen in history. And what you don't see here is we expect these productivity gains to be prolonged. So here are the 5 innovation platforms listed on the right. And you can see on the left that they involve 15 different technologies. And here I'd like to describe how we have set ARK up in a way that is different from traditional financial institutions. In traditional asset management firms, research responsibilities are set up and siloed by sector or industry or sub-industry. Many firms have 5 consumer analysts, 5 healthcare, 8 tech analysts. That is not how we have set ARK up. ARK's analyst responsibilities are broken out, categorized by technology, these 15 technologies. And why have we done it this way? We believe these technologies are going to scale across sectors as the costs associated with them drop over time. They will, more and more sectors and industries will enjoy access to these technologies over time. So it makes more sense for a company that is focused exclusively on innovation to be set up in this way. And you will see Tesla is a very good case in point. Tesla is not an auto company, but that is how traditional directors of research have focused on it. Tesla was given to auto analysts. At ARK, that is not what happened. We have 3 people working on the Tesla model. We have a very collaborative and collegial group of analysts. There's no turf warfare. We have a robotics analyst, energy storage analyst, and AI analyst working on Tesla. Robotaxis, they are robots, they will be electric, and they'll be powered by AI. In order to get that investment right, an investment team, a director of research, has to categorize it in the right way, which we have done. So here is one of the reasons, or four of the reasons, I founded ARK in 2014, 11 years ago. It was a response to the short-term orientation in the equity market. And it started really after the tech and telecom bust, and even more so after 08-09. The investment time horizons started to shorten and became very short. Often, and especially when interest rates were going up, time horizons shortened to 1 quarter. We are focused on, our investment time horizon is 5 years. And so when we see stocks being sold off for some very short-term reason that we think does not matter in the long-term scheme of things, the long-term opportunity, we tend to buy during times like that. And we're very focused, as you can see, on S-curves and innovation and how innovation evolves. So on the top left there, you see you'll go through a hype phase. And then when a lot of capital rushes in to a new opportunity, many people think AI is in that place today. We do not. We think that that we're in the equivalent of building out the superhighway system of the digital age. And it is going to take a lot of capital, and this is going to last a long time. I am not saying we won't see the occasional inventory build and very short-term disturbances like that, but AI is a huge opportunity. And it's bigger than the superhighway system that we built in the 50s and 60s in the US, bigger than the railway system if you adjust for inflation. It is like nothing we have ever seen before. So we believe that we are in the prime time for AI. The second inefficiency that we are capitalizing on is in the public markets, there's been a shift towards passive strategies. In the private markets, there has been a dearth of activity because of the regulatory system. That is changing. And to capitalize on that change, we've started a venture fund as well. But our public funds, like the one we have launched here in partnership with CTBC, sits in the middle. We are the closest to a venture capital fund in the public equity markets. And when I say that, I'm not saying that there are going to be a lot of failures. Our companies have been through a strict vetting process. They have had to go through regulators, bankers, the buy side, the sell side. There's been a lot of vetting. And that is our sweet spot. We do not look like any of the broad-based benchmarks out there, but we're a great complement to them because we don't look like them. The third inefficiency I have already described on the bottom left there. Our analyst responsibilities are broken out by technology, not by either style or sector or geography. And then the fourth is our open research ecosystem. We give our research away. And we give it away not when it is finished. It is never finished. Innovation is never finished. Thank goodness. We give it away as it is evolving. And we do it through social media. Why do we do that? Many people say, why do you sell or give away your secret sauce? That used to be a relevant question when there were no computers, when I started in the business, no computers, and it was really expensive and difficult to get information. Now information is prolific. It's how you put it together that matters. And we put our research out there because we want to see what innovators think about our research. Are we making an incorrect assumption anywhere? So we do use street research. We use our own original research. And we also have a group of, we call theme developers, experts, domain experts, who join us in a brainstorm every Friday to debate and discuss the ideas that have been evolving during the past week and month, and just the debates of the day. Here you can see clearly growth portfolios. We offer diversification and moderate to high risk reward profile. So yes, the volatility can be there, and we trade around volatility all the time. I think in Asia, you are expert at trading around volatility, so that's great, because you can derive a lot of alpha that way, as we do in our own investing. Now I'd like to go through big ideas, unlocking exponential growth. And actually, we're starting to use the word super exponential growth. Exponential growth is what Amazon has done for the last 25 years, or for 25 years, probably through, I'm going to say 22. It grew at a 25% annualized rate. In the late 90s, early 2000s, nobody thought it was possible for a company to grow sustainably in that way. Super exponential means not only sustaining rapid growth, but accelerating. And we will get into that in a moment. We do believe we're in the second half of the chessboard, which is an Indian fable, which some of you may know. But in effect, there's a compounding effect that is taking place right now as these technologies converge. And we get one S-curve feeding another S-curve, feeding another S-curve. And we'll go through some of those in a moment. Here are some of the AI market opportunities. This depicts the largest AI application out there, we believe, and that is in full self-driving robotaxis. The most profound application of AI, and that is in healthcare in the middle, and I'll explain them in a minute. And then the broadest based application in AI today. So full self-driving, here is Tesla's progress towards becoming better than a human driver, a robotaxi becoming better than a human driver. I don't know if you can see it on the chart. Yes, you can. The yellow line at the top is a human driver's accident rate. On average in the United States, there's an accident once every 700,000 miles. Full self-driving was having a disengagement. It wasn't an accident, but just a disengagement, meaning the driver had to stop or brake. Every 10,000 miles, as recently as, I'm going to say that was 23. You can see here, by the end of this year, we expect the robotaxi to be safer than a human driver. And Elon believes that the cyber cab will be many times safer than human drivers as they become ubiquitous. This is the largest AI application for the entire ecosystem globally around the world. We think it's an $8 to $10 trillion opportunity, revenue generating opportunity per year. And it's going to be SaaS-like. very high margin, subscription-based, and pretty exciting because we think it's going to happen quickly during the next 5 to 10 years. That $8 to $10 trillion, and put that in the context of global GDP of $130 trillion, this will move the needle. In the middle there, you see the most profound application of AI. This is how many hypotheses a scientist or a researcher in a biology lab can test per year. In 2023, that number was in the 20s, the low 20s. Today, it's nearly 10 times that much, 200 hypotheses per year versus low 20s. And we think that number is going up. It certainly is going up. So the productivity in healthcare, the discovery of new drug targets is exploding here. And we think the returns on R&D are going to be explosive. And then the last one there on the right is the improvement in coding that we have seen. Agentic coding going from single digit, you give it instructions, and how much of the code can it perform? Well, 2 years ago, it was single digit. Today, it's not on this chart, but it just crossed 80%. So think about that. Agentic AI from beginning to end. GDP growth, we think, is going to accelerate with every wave of innovation it does. From 1500 to 1900, real GDP growth around the world was 0.6%. With the Industrial Revolution, it went to 3%. That was 3 innovation platforms. With 5 innovation platforms, we think it's going to go to 7% plus real GDP growth, which nobody believes, but we do believe. And a lot of the reason is the productivity coming out of these new technologies. The other side of this is productivity is going to drive inflation down. These technologies are all deflationary. And so if anything, we think that we could be low if you give us another 5 years on this chart. Here is the market cap appreciation that we expect from these technologies. So the blue and the turquoise are the innovation parts of the bar. The turquoise is the Mag 6. The blue is truly disruptive innovation. The Mag 6 tripled in 5 years, from 1919 to 2024, as the market concentrated just toward a few stocks. Truly disruptive innovation went up about 30%. We think that's going to flip here. We think that truly disruptive innovation, which we're focused on, is going to enjoy outsized returns. The Mag 6 will be fine. It is the rest of the market you should worry about. I realize I don't have that much time, but I'll go through some of these charts quickly now. Robo-taxis. Finally, you see the 2 green success stories there. Google with Waymo and Tesla. You can see where we thought everyone and these companies themselves thought when we thought they were going to commercialize. It has taken much longer. Here is why Tesla is going to win over Waymo. You can see the first 2 bars are where we are today. The second 2 bars are where we're going. And in both cases, Waymo is more expensive a car than Tesla is, because Tesla is vertically integrated, doesn't have to deal with other manufacturers, and it's only using 8 or 9 sensors compared to the 23 that Waymo is using. And so, at the end of the day, we believe Tesla is going to be able to price more aggressively, and if Waymo wants to keep up, it might have very low profitability, certainly relative to Tesla. This gives you a size of how we've sized the market at different price points. We will attract, or more parts of the populations will gain access to autonomous mobility. Robotics. Here you can see household robots. We think humanoid robots will be prolific both in the house and in the rest of the physical world. In the house, household robots, we think is a $13 trillion opportunity, and we can provide these slides for you. We show you how we get to that opportunity based on the productivity that these humanoid robots will introduce into the home. Here is a picture. If you look on the chart on the right-hand side, you can see with the dotted line at the bottom where Tesla believes humanoid robot costs will be. And you can see they're in the 20 to 25,000 range. And at that level, the number of robots that will be introduced into the global world is going to run, we believe, into the billions. Billions and billions of robots. This is just illustrating that we in the household do a lot of jobs for free, right? Dishwashing, for example. Well, here you can see what a professional dishwasher does. You can see how big the market for dishwashing machines and dishwashers are. And you can see, compared to that, how much work we do, how much it is worth. It is worth more than 10 times what the world is paying today for dishwashing machines and dishwashers. That's us doing the work for free now, but that humanoid robots will do for us in the future. Multiomics. Multiomics is DNA, RNA, proteins, methylation, epigenetics. It's complicated. This is the biggest data project on Earth. We call Tesla the largest AI project on Earth right now, but we call what's going on in the healthcare sector the largest AI data project. More data is going to come from our human bodies than out of anything else in the world. We have in each of our bodies 35 to 40 trillion cells filled with data that we are now able to measure with single cell sequencing. It's pretty amazing. And here are the ways that we see AI impacting healthcare. I'll just dwell on a couple of them. On the top right, we believe that the cost to develop drugs is going to drop from $2.4 billion on average for just one drug to $600 million in the next 5 to 10 years, thanks to AI, a drop in the failure rate, and more precise targeting. And we think the time to develop a new drug will drop from 13 years to 8 years. And with a patent life of 20 or 21 years, that means unlocking tremendous economic value. On the bottom left, molecular diagnostic tests. Thanks to the convergence of all kinds of sequencing technologies, AI, we are able now to identify, diagnose with a blood test cancer in stage 1. colorectal cancer in stage 1. And one of the companies in our venture portfolio, Freenome, is getting better at identifying colorectal cancer before stage 1 because polyps also shed into the bloodstream. And with AI, we're now able to catch the information and the warning signs. So diagnosing cancer in stage 1 is going to save hundreds of thousands, millions of lives in the years ahead and extend human life. And then curing disease, the holy grail, right? Well, now we have the convergence of sequencing technologies, AI, and CRISPR gene editing. With sequencing, we are able now to identify what has mutated in our genome from year to year. And it's inexpensive to find it out now. At the leading edge, sequencing costs $200. So we can do it, and it's going to happen more and more. And we believe in future years, we will learn from year to year, oh, okay, this gene has mutated. It means this disease is possibly on the way. Oh, let's get CRISPR gene editing to reprogram that gene, edit out that mutation, and take away the risk of the disease. CRISPR Therapeutics is already curing sickle cell disease and beta thalassemia. In the pipeline now, and doing very well in early phases, is an edit to lower cholesterol. One edit, one infusion, cholesterol down to normal for the rest of your life. That's amazing. That's amazing. And the reason it is heart disease is the #1 killer around the world. So millions of lives we can save here. And Pfizer's Lipitor generated at its peak $13 billion per year. So insurance companies are willing to pay up to save people from these horrible diseases, heart attacks, strokes, and so forth. And then here, just to illustrate what I said, in the early 2000s, to sequence the first whole human genome, it cost $2.7 billion for one person's genome. 23 years later, cost $200. $2.7 billion to $200. That's deflation. That's technology. That's what we expect to happen more prolifically as these 5 innovation platforms evolve, and one S-curve feeds another and feeds the deflationary forces out there. Deflation in a good way. You cut the cost, and the demand goes up dramatically. And here, final chart, I think, is what we believe is going to happen in the healthcare sector. So when I started in the business, so in the early 80s, healthcare was in its heyday. I think that Genentech had really the biggest breakthrough that created the biotech industry. And we saw the returns on drug development go up into the high 20s to 30%, the return on investment. Look what's happened since then. Terrible, terrible. Low single digit. We had a little spurt there around COVID, and now it's back down. You can see those green lines there, projections. We expect and we believe This is where active management comes in. We believe a number of biotech and pharma companies out there are harnessing these AI and other tools correctly, and that they will benefit from the productivity gains and the revenue generation, and they will overcome a $300 billion patent cliff that they're facing between now and 2030. Other drug companies will not. It is really important that they harness these tools or they'll be left behind. As you can see, some of the companies in our portfolio, which are pure plays and are not encumbered by legacy drugs that are going to fall off the patent cliff, we think the returns on those drugs could be phenomenal, thanks to the convergence of sequencing technologies, AI, CRISPR gene editing, and other big breakthroughs. So with that, I want to thank you for your warm welcome. Really happy to be here. Thrilled to be the first overseas active equity ETF in Taiwan. Couldn't be happier. We're looking forward to a great journey together with you, and I hope that you get on the right side of change as well, because life is going to be really interesting, really fun, and really rewarding if you do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cathie.
Thank you.
Thank you for your wonderful talk. Very informative. Thank you so much. And later on, we'll have our Q&A session. I have more follow-up questions. 我们刚才听到非常前瞻的趋势，有5大不同的 platforms， 现在全部 converge 在一起。在未来有很多各方层面，因为 AI 的关系，我们的生活会发生翻天覆地的改变。但是如果把前瞻拉回到现在，我们的投资实战，在知道这些经验之后，应该要怎么样发挥在我们的投资决策的判断上面？接下来的这一场演讲呢，是由中国信托的投信基金经理人唐祖印要为大家一起来分享改变未来的趋势密码到底在哪里？下一步投资人应该怎么做？欢迎你。谢谢。
各位长官，Cathie， 大家午安，大家好。我希望大家都能跟我一样，站在现在在这个台上啊，来感受一下在 Cathie Wood 女士演讲完之后接着讲的压力啊。我相信她刚刚给了我们非常明确的一个未来，这个未来可能是我们在现在很多想象不到，是 beyond our expectation， 但是又似乎很靠近。对不对？我觉得，自从00983A 我们中信 ARK 创新主动式 ETF 在6月份挂牌以来啊，我至少还能跟各位朋友交代一件事情，就是短2个多月，它的绩效还能够让大家没有失望，还算满意，对不对？我也希望将来能够继续在这个产品上精益求精，为大家创造更好的绩效。那回到我们的这个产品本身哦，当然刚刚各位已经从Wood女士那边已经听到非常多前瞻性的颠覆式创新的想法。那事实上00983A 也是真是台湾第一档主动的海外的股票式的 ETF。那我们其实跟这次跟 ARK Invest 的合作是非常的开心，我们前后超过1年时间的沟通讨论，到最后的成真。我想不仅刚刚Wood女士开心，在中国信托投信也相当的具有成就感。我们这个00983A 的投资主题就是跟刚刚ARK Invest 所提的颠覆式创新的5大主题是一样的。我们这次这个产品 在 ARK Invest 的一个投资顾问的协助之下，在这个5大的颠覆式创新的主题下面，来陆续找出未来可能具有长期投资价值、投资机会的标的。我相信刚刚从前面的伍德女士的讲解，可以很清楚的看到很多未来可能出现的样貌。我相信，在座各位在此之前，可能很难想象到将来自己开的车子，有一天当你不用它，放在停车场或停在路边的时候，它很可能帮你开出去，自己去接个单子，帮你载个客，再自己开回来，对不对？我相信也很少人能够想象到，或者已经开始想象，在未来家里面可能会有一个人形机器人在帮你做家事，来释放不管叫做家庭主夫或者是家庭主妇，他们的双手跟他们的时间来创造更大的生产力。同时，刚刚数字上也看到了13兆美元的家事的价值，这现在是免费的。我们从来都不知道做家事有这么的值钱啊，对不对？但是当这些现在是 for free， 它的价值是 zero。可是有一天，当人形机器人进来的时候，它就可能就开始被计算在 GDP 里面了。所以它是一个从 ground zero 从没有到有的一个破坏式的颠覆式的创新。这当然刚刚只是一个例子，还有非常非常多的例子都在逐步的证明这一点。我们正在往一个可见，虽然不是那么清楚，但是可信未来会发生的一个可以说百年难得一见的一个革命。好，我想这个回过头来，当时我们在 IPO 的时候，曾经跟投资朋友都介绍过，我们为什么要在这时候要推一个颠覆式创新的产品。因为当时我跟各位朋友所分享的是大环境出现了一个变化，它开始有利了颠覆式创新的投资。这件事情可能在过去2-3年间并没有那么的明显，但是从这1-2年开始，甚至以后，我们会看到非常非常多的情形出现。事实上，今年已经都看到了。虽然我们在电视、在媒体上看到都是川普又怎么样，又开始讲关税啊等等，但事实上，如同刚刚伍德女士所说的，她其实做了非常非常多对于美国现状改变很有利的事情。我这边提3件。第一个，刚刚提到大美丽法案的减税，这个减税不光是只有减企业的税，从21减到15，也不光只有在个人所得税的延长，那个部分的延长，更多刚刚提到了，包括折旧摊提的变化，你的投资可以充分的在很短时间做摊提。所以这些东西是一个政策上的改变，大环境的改变，它对于现阶段在美国企业的投资意愿，以及在美国消费者以及家庭他们的消费意愿，你可能维持住他们的消费经济的韧性，以及投资的韧性。所以今年我们看来，虽然美国经济看起来好像摇摇欲坠，但是事实上在我们看来，它是一个经过软着陆 soft landing 的一个状况。它的消费还是很有韧性，它的生产力我们待会会提到，是让人觉得开始觉得美国的制造业有机会了。所以这是第一个。第二个，我们看到了大环境的改变，是资金会再度的宽松，是有可能的。就在下个月9月份，我们很可能会看到 Fed 经过1年的没有降息，会再度开始降息循环。这个降息循环会解放很多中小企业、新创企业他们的资金压力跟成本，也同时会让资本市场 re-rating、repricing 他们的价值。这个在过去几年在升息阶段是看不到的，大环境已改变了。那第3个改变是我最想讲，刚刚也提过了，就是 deregulation， 就是放松监理。这是川普上任之后做的最积极的一件事情。我举个例子，川普政府在上个月7月底 曾经宣布了一个叫做美国 AI 的行动方案，叫做 American AI Action Plan。这个方案有几个非常大的架构，第一个架构就是要去监管，它就要放松所有跟 AI 相关投资的监理跟管理。这个在拜登政府时期是被高度管理的，在川普时期，这个 Action Plan 就做这方面的开放。第二个，要增加 AI 基础建设。AI 不只是要晶片，也不只是要伺服器，它要盖资料中心，它更需要电。美国其实跟台湾一样，其实还缺电，美国电力需求更大，所以事实上它要增加 infrastructure for AI 这件事情也在它的 Action Plan 里面。第三个重点，它要美国的 AI 技术是输出到全世界。这当然在背后希望 AI 希望美国在 AI 的世界里面是成为领导者。所以这个 American AI Action Plan 事实上这个是一个监管放松，尤其是对 AI 产业监管放松一个很大的一个成就。那其次，当然我们也可以看到加密货币，就刚刚也提到了所谓的天才法案，还有所谓的这个清晰法案，三个法案赋予了加密货币法定的地位，甚至稳定币的法定地位都给予了。在此之余，川普也开放了包括个人的退休账户 401k， 或者是校务基金，还有私募股权基金等等，可以开始要投资加密资产，甚至加密货币。这一连串的改变，这个 deregulation， 像包括哈佛大学也开始投资在它的校务基金的 portfolio 里面，也开始投资了首度做的加密货币资产的布局。这些改变是的确是活生生看得到的。那另外还有改变，当然这一页就是我们在983A针对区块链这一块，我们已经在做很长远的布局了。包括我们不是只买那个币啊的本身，包括交易所，包括那个整个媒合的，还有包括这个平台 Robinhood 等等的，刚刚都提到了。另外就是电脑，这个刚刚讲过，在美国是缺电。那川普政府在5月份的时候，他也签署了4项所谓的核电复兴的行政命令。他这件事情，他就完全松绑了核能电厂在美国新建的障碍。在美国过去15年间，从2010年开始，已经没有新的大型核能电厂的新建案了，因为非常多的环保等等的，或者是替代能源等等的，或当地等等的法规限制，已经过去15年都没有再建新的大型的核子反应炉。但今年纽约州开始做了第一件大型反应炉的建案。美国在未来，这边看得到，2030年还需要非常多电，这可能还不包括 data center 资料中心所要用的电。资料中心用的电，现在大部分都还是用天然气或者是替代能源、清洁能源所提供的，核能只有9%，核电只占9%。但是各位知道，现行政府对于替代能源其实是要排除的，所以核电成为他们少数的选项之一。所以我们可以看到，自从这个所谓的核能复兴的行政命令出来之后，其实相关个股当然是飙得很厉害。但是我们认为这也不可能是只有一次性的。未来在美国至少在资料中心 data center。到2030年还需要80兆瓦的一个80个 gigawatt 的电力需求，所以这是一个非常庞大的、现实的，在未来可看见的一个电力需求，也是来自于 deregulation 把监理给松绑。当然，除此之外，已经在美国做了非常多所谓的小型的核子反应炉，也不要说很多的 CSP 大型的资料中心处理业者，他们老早就跟很多的核电厂做合作，他们希望取得稳定、干净跟便宜的能源。这件事情，我相信在美国是现在进行式，未来也会持续下去。所以，包括刚刚讲的 减税、资金宽松跟放松监管，这是大环境的改变。从我们那时候 IPO 讲到现在，一点都没有变，这件事还会持续下去。除此之外，我们的确也看到，在总体经济面上，在美国 AI 对于生产力的成本生产力的提升，已经出现了好转的现象。各位现在知道吗？就是美国一直在讲说要制造业复兴、制造业回流，对不对？但是事实上是真的，因为美国过去20几年制造业其实是一个往下滑的状态。在全世界的制造业的版图里面，那美国在过去几年，它的市占率大概只有10% 多一点点，已经非常低了。在美国国内 GDP 整个制造业的比重也不高。我们过去看10年以来，如果算制造业的实质生产力，过去10年经常是负的。但这件事情从2年前开始出现了变化。2023年的第2季开始，美国制造业的实质生产力由负转正，有政策上的支持，当然也有 AI 的 support。AI 所提供的制造业跟生产力的提升，目前体现在制造业的实质生产力的回升上是看得到的。从2023年第2季到现在，足2年8个季度的生产力，通通都是在正数。刚刚结束公布的第2季，美国制造业的实质生产力是正的 1.5%， 数量不多，但是已经持续2年。这是第一个我们看到在总体环境的一个变化。那第二个呢，我们也看到了对于传统产业，这边也举个例子哦。传统产业里面，我们以国防产业举例，国防产业是一个相对比较封闭，大概很多的标案，大概都是特定少数有能力有技术的国防军工公司所承担。但各位可能也都知道，最近这几年情况有一些改变，对不对？这家公司大概都听过了Palantir 是我们一个持股。以它为例，它其实很早以前成立就锁定了国防安全这件事情，但是呢，直到很多像包括战争啊等等，它立了功以后，大家才会看到它的存在。但事实上，它过于长期以来对于美国的国防的标案或者它的那个一些承包商，都还是掌握在传统的军火商的手上。这件事情在3年前也出现了一些变化。第一个，美国国防部已经很清楚认知到 AI 的重要性，他们成立了一个叫数位发展 AI 人工智慧的办公室，叫 CDAO。他们开始大量的引进 AI 在国防工业的发展。那 Palantir 就是一个非常好的候选人。那在去年，他曾经拿到一个标案，国防部的标案，金额不大，才1.8亿美金，但是他是创造了一个先例。什么先例呢？第一个，他的标案对手叫做雷神，他是传统的美国大型的军火商。第二个，这个标案的内容，它是美国国防部史上第一个是以软体数据分析做战略规划的标案。在过去很多是仪器或者是一个用武器的方式，但是现在这次是用数据跟 AI 的分析来进行防卫的攻势，所以这是一个非常不一样的现象。更不要说包括川普的 deregulation 也放宽了很多短期空中交通的限制，像 ultra aviation 就是其中的受惠者。也不要说像无人机的发展，现在已经非常的蓬勃了。最后我想分享一下这段时间跟 ARK 的一个交流的心得。刚刚有提到，很多人在做投资的时候，看到的风险都是价格风险， 那他们都会习惯是用统计上的标准差去衡量，这也没有错，但是只对了一半。因为事实上，我们拿钱去做投资一家公司的时候，其实是我们是投资这家公司的经营，是成为他的股东。当我们成为他的股东的时候，我们所担心的第一件事，应该不会是第二天的股价，而是这家公司能不能在未来长远潮流当中存活下来，或者是在竞争当中存活下来。所以事实上，一家公司，尤其是我们投资的是具有前瞻性的新创公司，颠覆式创新的公司，我们更应该用这个角度去看。这是第一个。第二个，永远有投资人在问我说，现在值不值得买？已经这么贵了，我永远碰到这样的问题。但是面对这种我们投资5到10年，甚至更长远的这种颠覆式创新，我会认为你在市场比你选市场、选时间要来的重要。换句话讲 ，time in the market 会远远比 timing the market 要重要的多。所以，如果当我们把眼光是放在这样的颠覆式创新，它是具有一个长远的、长期潜力的未来的时候，最好的方式是 time in the market， 而不要老是在 time in the market。这是我一些想法。那最后，我要表达一下这一次跟ARK 合作的感谢。我相信我们将来的合作机会还非常多，因为在这个颠覆式创新的路上，是有非常非常多精彩的故事可以讲的，而中信投信也绝对不会缺席。谢谢大家，谢谢。
谢谢唐祖印基金经理人精辟的解析，邀请您先行回座。我们刚才听完这2场演讲串联起来，可以说是从一个宏观的未来的趋势，一路到实战的一个完整的旅程。Cathie Wood 一开始呢，我们打开了对于未来这扇窗的视野，我们到底会看到世界怎么样的变化？接下来这些浪潮怎么样落地？怎么样发挥在我们的日常生活当中，转换成实际的操作方法？这是由第2场演讲唐祖印基金经理人为我们带来解析。那接下来我们要进入今天的 Q&A 环节，在这个环节呢，我会代表大家，我刚刚也在线上看直播的观众朋友们提了非常多有趣的问题，想要进一步的理解。当中国信托投信再加上 Cathie Wood 2方一起的观点，会有什么样新型的火花？让我们延伸今天的2场的演讲，让今天的对话更加完整、更有深度。所以，让我们再次欢迎 Cathie Wood to come onto the stage to join our Q&A session， 也再次欢迎唐祖印基金经理人。我们掌声欢迎2位。我们准备一下。好
Cathie, my first question is going to direct to you, so I'm going to use it in English. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right.
Hi, Cathie. How are you feeling right now?
Great.
I've heard that you have a tight schedule after this, so I will keep my question short.
Okay.
Okay. And then.
We're going to the airport.
Yeah, you're going to the airport directly from here.
Yeah.
Oh wow, thank you. Oh, yeah, you're only 8 hours here in Taiwan, right?
8 hours. Best 8 hours.
Okay, thank you. On my show, we've talked about for like 30 minutes for an exclusive interview, one-on-one. Can't get enough of it. I have other questions. I want to talk about Trump.
Surprise.
Trump tariff, you said in your presentation and keynote, it's one hell of a ride.
Yes.
But here in Taiwan, we particularly care about the Commerce Department Section 232 investigation about the chips that is about to announce. What do you think that's going to be a negative or a positive factor for global economy?
You know, it's interesting. Oh, for the global economy.
Yeah.
I'll just mention NVIDIA in the quarterly report last night and the call afterwards. Jensen Huang clearly is, working with the administration to ameliorate the damage that could be done by, some of the tariffs and some of his tendencies. And I do think he's softening up. I do.
Yeah, I've seen his presence a lot in the White House these days.
Yes.
Their staff.
Yes.
Negotiation process.
And one of the things he said is, we want to be the leader in the world from an innovation point of view. But, if we are not exporting our innovation to the world, that will limit our progress, right, and allow more or encourage more competition. One of the things he said was, I'm trying to think about it, it just caught me because I was saying, he knows something. Mm-hmm. He knows something. And, I think there might be a little more of a rapprochement evolving here than I expected. And I think we've learned a lot from actually DeepSeek and all of the open source technology that our companies now are using in the US. Mm-hmm. And I think that has awakened President Trump to this idea, wait a minute, we're leveraging off of their technology, and we actually caused that open source movement because we stopped selling our software to China because of IP theft. We just stopped. So they developed an open source ecosystem, which is now more competitive than I think anyone could have imagined. So I think President Trump is saying, wait a minute, if we withhold, then we are encouraging, competitors to develop their own chips or whatever and compete more aggressively against us. So I think I sense a change coming here. Can't put my finger on it, but I know it was in the call last night. No, it was in the call last night. There was a difference.
Then what do you think his ultimate goal is?
President Trump on chip technology generally?
Or in general, his ultimate goal for economy.
Oh, no. His ultimate goal is to become the greatest president the U.S. has ever had, bar none. That's what he wants. And if you notice, I think many people in our lifetimes think that President Reagan was one of the best presidents. And guess who he has up in his office? He reveres him in a way, and he wants to do better than Reagan did, and he wants to be remembered as a better president. So that's why I know from this point of view, it doesn't seem like that's possible, but that's what I mean. He's a negotiator par excellence. You all hear about the tariffs. You don't hear that much about the deregulation, the tax cuts. You don't hear that much. Well, you hear it from CDBZ because we have partnered and we talk about it, and they are also really smart. But I don't think, even in the United States, most people don't know about, unless their businesses are directly affected, but the average person doesn't know that there's an undercurrent here of really good, really good incentives, important incentives to get our economy going, get our economy booming, and to do that in the context, I think, more and more of a global boom.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, that all these news we see all day is just on the surface, right? In his heart, he has this clear picture of where he's going.
Yes.
All right, that sort of comforted me a little bit.
Exactly.
So my next question, you talked about 5 different platforms that's going to converge all together. And in your word, it's going to bring up unprecedented growth for GDP. You talk about 5 different platforms. I'm a curious one.
Yes.
Is there any possible you find out a number 6 one?
Well, I think what we're monitoring very, very closely is quantum computing. But I think what we are concluding, and this is our chief futurist now, he used to be our director of research. He was promoted to this new position for exactly this reason. We cannot miss the next big thing. And so quantum is it, but we think it is too early. And the reason it's not happening faster is because the progress in AI is so dramatic and beating, most people's expectations that it is starting to enable some of the things that we were looking at quantum computing to do. So I think a lot of investment dollars, if AI was not progressing at the rate it is, and it seems to be unstoppable, the larger the model, the better the result. If it were not improving at that rate, there'd probably be more capital flowing into quantum computing than there is now. Mm-hmm. It is so focused now on this huge opportunity near term that I think quantum computing, while there's certainly Google and IBM and the universities are all working on it, we do think there will not be any commercial scaling of quantum computing. There will be progress in the research, but scaling until well into the 40s, if then.
When is the best timing?
When is the best timing?
Yeah, for quantum computing.
Oh, when is the best
timing? Yeah, when is it going to be here?
Well, if you asked him what he really believes, it won't be until the 2050s, but...
Wow.
Yeah, in terms of real commercial scaling.
I see. So everybody can have the benefit out of it.
If AI were not here, it would probably be sooner because the investment dollars would be pouring in that direction.
I see. That's the reason why you have there's 5 different platforms and not.
And I do also want to say when the 5 platforms, they are launching pads for more innovation. If we did not have the breakthroughs we have in sequencing technologies, DNA and other sequencing technologies, CRISPR could not have been invented, right? If we couldn't find the mutations, and AI has been a big part of that, then there would be nothing to edit because we can't find them. And CRISPR editing wouldn't be a thing, except for maybe plants.
Yeah, hearing talk about AI is so interesting that you're here singles that Taiwan is at the front and center role of this AI revolution.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. 接下来我的问题是要来请教唐祖英基金经理人的。我想要请教，也是刚才我在直播上面看到蛮多的观众会请教说，为什么中国信托投信第一档主动式的 ETF 跟 ARK 来合作，然后是特别来选这种颠覆式创新这样子的一个题材？那因为台湾很多人的投资想法概念会比较偏保守，那在这样子题材在市场上面，你的第一线反应，你观察到什么样特殊的现象
？OK， I don't know if I would use English or Mandarin 。OK， 我讲我中文好了。我们在去年在讨论主动式 ETF 我们要发行的策略选择上，我们的确有考虑过在台湾投资人的特性。对，您刚刚说台湾投资人偏保守，或许说对了一部分，因为很多台湾的投资人喜欢吸收，对不对？那不过其实事实上，就我知道，还是有一部分，而且蛮大一部分的台湾投资人，他认识、他了解股票市场是有波动，但他长期持有会有收获的。那在我们中信投信就在思考。我们要推出什么样的策略跟产品出来？我们希望能够 think different， 想的不一样，推出不一样的东西。那海外市场当然美国是最重要的市场。那美国市场在去年在分析的过程当中，我们发现大多数在美国现有的投资的产品，他们的走向跟他们的持股 类似性还蛮高的。所以，但是美国市场又是一个这么大、水又很深的市场，它不可能只有这样子的范围。所以我们开始来思考，找一些有前景的、有不一样的。那当然了，到我自己以前在 ARK 的 Invest 上是有涉猎、有看过的，所以我很自然有这个机会去看一下 ARK 适不适合。所以也是因为这样子开始这个一连串的开始做联系、做讨论。
这个原来就在你的心目当中是一个很好的。
我觉得它是一个适合让投资人有一个新的视野，有一个不一样的视角，看全球市场、看美国市场的方法。
是的，那因为现在真的是瞬息万变的市场嘛，你刚刚也提到了在 presentation 里头 ，Palantir 啊、国防啊，各式各样的 AI 的新的科技，从6月挂牌以来到现在，你觉得有没有什么很特殊的市场上面的观察，是您在今天这个场合可以跟现场投资人、跟线上的观众朋友一起分享的？
好，这问题这个非常好，因为这要讲会讲很多，不过我提2点，第一个就是从6月到现在大概才2个半月的时间 ，OK。但是事情发生转变的速度远远超乎我当时的想象。好比说 cryptocurrency 的 act， 它这么快就过了，它突然而言让加密货币或稳定币有了一个法定的地位，它有机会成为未来可以说改变整个金融业生态的一个。
是的，天才法案。
对，所以事实上这件事情在6月份的时候，倒没有想到会这么顺利，这么快就过了，所以它就发生非常快，甚至后来像以太坊啊，就以太币啦，
最近涨很多。
就是他们这样子一连串的思考下来，就会发觉这些原本在非主流产业的，在加密货币，它会变成一个主流性的产业。对，这个是一个这段时间非常难得的一个想法。
还有吗？
我觉得还当然还像医学，对，像医学 AI 用在医学，对我们平常很健康的人来讲，其实是无感的。譬如说刚刚 Cathie 有分享到 Recursion 那家公司，它开发药的速度从2年前现在提升到10倍，甚至更高，一年原本只做20次，现在超过200次。这样的一个速度，可是对于健康人来讲，其实是感受不到的，因为要当他生病的时候，他才有感觉。所以，但是这个东西是活生生的，会让这些医疗的产业做革命性的发展。所以，事实上，在中信投信，我们自己的内部团队其实也开始已经开始在努力在看这一块，因为这一块在过去，因为大家无感。所以大家可能没有放很多心思在股价表现上，但是这一块的潜力是非常非常巨大的。
是，
我们认为在未来它是非常有机会的，这也是这段时间一个心得。
那我问题来了，就是这么多新的变化发生的当下，它怎么回头来影响你对00983A？你们的认知啊、看法、评估有没有什么样调整？
当然，第一个00983A 是一个全透明的一个投资组合，它每天都看得到，所以事实上我们每天做的决策都收到很多的反馈。第一个，我们对于这5个颠覆式创新的主题，我们抓得非常紧，我们大概不太会，大概就是我们这档的最大的主轴跟卖点。第二个，在股价波动期间，当然我们有的时候因为它偏离非常多的时候，那我们会请教 ARK 这边的想法，会做一些调整，在比重上会做一些调整，在持股上也会做一些调整。所以这段时间我们跟 ARK 之间的沟通是非常顺畅的，包括任何形式的沟通，中间也让我们学习到他们对一些个股跟产业的比较深度的思考。所以这件事情对这段时间00983，我相信未来也会更让我们有更多的学习的空间跟机会。在操作上，我觉得这个主题是紧紧的抓住未来的产业趋势，这是毫无质疑的。在个股的选择上，我们跟 ARK 之间有非常非常充分的讨论。
我听到一个重点了，6月份挂牌以来到现在，其实双方的沟通都还是继续很密切的，然后持续紧盯市场上面的变化。Before we wrap everything up, Cathie, my last question is for you.
Yes.
I think you're the best person to answer this question after decades of in this industry. What is the benefit of active ETF?
Well, I think if we're right, and actually Jack just mentioned it, if we're right, the rate of change is going to accelerate here. And if you're in a portfolio maybe that rebalances every quarter, that may not be fast enough, given how quickly some of these changes are evolving. So I have only done active management. It's the only thing I understand. I think with active management also, you get to know the management teams, and very importantly, and this is a leading indicator for us, you watch where the talent goes. Whenever I'm pulling up a stock and there's news on a company, I will look at what's happened with the talent. And we get announcements all the time as a leading indicator. So we don't have to wait for changes to show up in numbers to then decide to sell. If we think an important member of the team has left, that can often be a cause to trim and just say, okay, wait a minute, why? And so forth. Same thing if we see a person we really like leaving one company and coming to another, we'll be much more interested in that company. So, there's an art and a science, and I think that our business has moved more towards the science, which is more quant-driven and factor-driven, and there's a place for that. There is equally a place, especially given how quickly things are changing, for active management, to react or anticipate and make a move any day, not wait for the end of the quarter.
Yeah, I see. Thank you. It's just that to summarize and draw a conclusion here, from what I understand, you are still extremely confident about the future, right? Extremely positive about the forecast of the economy.
More than I have been in quite a while. I think the beginning of COVID, that while it was a wild and wonderful ride,
yes.
There was another side to it. And we had an administration that was regulating more and more and really lowering the odds that innovation would become as explosive as it is now. Nothing's going to stop the innovation, but now it's going to accelerate because there are many tailwinds. I think interest rates will be a tailwind. The broadening out of the market is fantastic for us. And the administration's policies are better than I could have expected. I mean, they're as free market and pro-business as I've ever seen.
Thank you so much, Cathie Wood. Thank you for your time and your vision. 也谢谢唐祖义基金经理人，谢谢两位今天的时间。That's a wrap up for our panel discussion. Thank you so much. Please be seated.
Thank you, Jack.
Take your time. Thank you. Yeah, we're gonna have a group photo together. Yes. 谢谢你，谢谢。Yes. Please. Okay. 好，谢谢现场所有的长官嘉宾，还有我们线上的观众朋友。我们现在呢要做今天的整个论坛最重要的一件事情，就是呢我们在 Cathie Wood 还有我们的基金经理人回到座位的时候，我们要请现场所有的长官嘉宾看向前方，我们邀请我们的大会摄影师为我们今天的论坛留下一张最重要、最完美的纪念。所以我现在要到旁边了。请大家把你们最灿烂的笑容可以留给我们前方摄影师，邀请你上台。好，我们再一张活泼一点的，好不好？跟 Cathie Wood 一起合照，是不是有一个小手势？希望接下来的经济，我们的投资都更加的顺利。我们一起看向正前方的摄影师。Ellen, we're waiting for you. Come on in. 我们再次掌声谢谢 Cathie Wood 来到台湾，第一次跟台湾的投资人一起面对面的交流，也再次谢谢中国信托投信把 Cathie Wood 邀请来台湾。我们今天的论坛就到这边告一段落了，我是陆怡珍，下次再见。